Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. Happy Wednesday. We're on the way to Armageddon Day. How are you, Pat? What's happening, my friend?
Armageddon Day. We just call that Hump Day. It's a new
Yeah.
propaganda. The end of the
It's like
world is coming, but
any day that ends with a Y.
we're all good.
We're all good. How are you? I'm excited that I'm seeing them join us now. We've got the Vanguard guys coming. We're very excited they're here.
He was about to call you boys, the Vanguard boys.
I talked myself through it. It's like if I've ever met somebody who doesn't swear and all I want to do is swear, and I'm like, I cannot say again that I could be their mother. And now that's all I can think about. So I'm getting it out of the way right now. I could be their mother. But that's all I'm going to say about that.
How was your weekend? How was your week? Let's get into you before I forget.
Listen, Pat, if I've accomplished one thing in this past year with you, it has been to introduce you to the social norms and niceties of asking a person about her weekend. It's lovely. Thank you so much for asking.
It just rolls off the tongue now. Oh, tell me more.
I thought you were going to make a promise.
Oh, I have to wait till you say something? I have to wait till you say something. Oh, I'm working on it.
They're rolling off the tongue. It was a lot of baseball, a lot of drinking, and hanging with family, and really trying hard not to crawl into a hole under my bed, because what the fuck is happening in our world? How about you? That's about all I got.
I'm looking at the positive. I went to the gym. I have an air fryer now. I moved up the technology.
Okay.
Although all I've done is fry fatty foods. I mean, frozen, pre-fried fatty foods with it. So I don't know if that's the healthiest thing.
We do quite a bit of that at our place also. I love it. It heats up so fast. So and then I have to say, it's very hopeful that you are going to the gym. That's a positive outlook on the future.
And I wouldn't recommend it for most people trying to avoid COVID, even my gym. But in my defense, it's a 2-story gym with lots of space between people. Nobody's masked though, but I have a plethora of KN95. So I figure I'm probably better off with that than getting fat and having a heart attack or something like everyone in my family does. So it's an option I made, but don't be careful yourself, because COVID is going nuts right now. So
no, it's over. It's over.
Oh, it's over. That's right.
What are you talking about? All right. Well, we're so excited to be here together. Wait, did I ask you about your weekend? Like, it's not all fire in here. I know I did this last time, but you're going to have to hold down the fort today.
Let me tell the story again about my air fryer, because that's what everyone tuned in for. I want to know. Oh, my cat's doing well too. So the boxes are checked. Moving on.
Yeah, we got
Let's get Zach and Gavin in here.
All right, let's do it. Are you doing it? Oh, there we go. Hey,
What's up, Pat? Hey, how's it going, Lila?
It's been a while. How are you guys doing?
Pretty great. Got some drinks this time. I know last time we were the party poopers, all sober and shit. But this time we got sufficiently fucked up before the show, and
I am so excited. That's
we are too.
Yeah, it's 7:00 over here, so we've been happier hourings. I got to the bar at 4 today. For people who don't know that are listening, I work as a bartender, so I'm always tempted just to show up to the bar when we open and just be like, because I sit down, they'll be like, Zach, hey, you want to fucking do something downstairs? We'll pour you shots. Let's fucking go. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll do these shots, and then whatever menial task you ask me to do downstairs. Okay.
Wait, is the bar that you work at downstairs from where you live?
Oh, no. We have a basement in the bar. Sorry. Every time I walk into but anyway, sufficient to say I've done shots already today. I'm adequately prepared for this happy hour.
I'm so excited. What's your shot?
Oh, today actually, and as of recently, it always changes because we get bored or whatever. But right now we're doing a watermelon tequila shot. Pretty tasty.
Okay.
Yeah, normally I'm just tequila. Anything tequila is my go-to. But what about you?
Well, I do vodka shots,
nice,
and then vodka diet tonics. And Pat's doing, what is that, bourbon whiskey?
It's bourbon. I just tried a random new brand.
Looks like some top shelf shit, bro.
It's like middle shelf. It's like a notch above Bullet.
Looks like $90 shit.
By notch, I mean like $3 or something. It's not,
Hell
not
yeah,
really a whole shelf.
I'm not much of a whiskey man myself, but Zach's
Yeah.
determined to make it happen.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
bourbon. I'm like, you love Hunter S. Thompson. You have to drink bourbon. Wild
Right.
turkey or wild turkey. Jesus Christ, I have been drinking. Fuck me.
Yeah.
Wild turkey bourbon is a
I've said that before, by the way. No, sorry. Go on.
Zach will have to do his best not to get himself canceled tonight.
No, that's content. It's cancelable content.
Last time I got
Um,
drunk and was like defending Will Smith, so everybody in our comment section was chewing my ass for that. I was like, if you look at a map of America, it's right when it shows you where I'm from. I'm kidding. But
Well, I was almost late to the show for an important reason. My beer was terrible, so I had to upgrade. So I went out and got a new beer. So
What did you have?
shout out to not these guys because it's an awful fucking beer.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh yeah, you
they need to-
like IPAs, right?
I like IPAs, but Berryessa Brewing is what I'm drinking now, and it's
Uh-huh.
delicious.
Nice.
So,
Well, I just have a Miller High Life here, so not quite as classy, but
I respect that.
Gavin's working class. What are you, Patrick?
I'm
Yeah,
the
bougie, his bougie bourbon.
bougie proletariat. I don't know. Something that's going to get me. I'm a
Champagne socialist.
DSA / still with her
Oh
combination.
God.
No.
Yeah.
Kill me.
You
Let's
just
get to the
brought down-
wheel.
You just brought down all the energy.
People,
I'm
anyone
excited for the
take me
wheel though.
seriously.
Yeah, that's the whole. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. There's a lot to get to, and we have more segments today, but we also left a
Wait.
lot off. Yeah.
Oh,
Before
really?
we get to that, what's going on with you guys? I'm checking in.
Oh, look
Anything?
at that.
Just chilling, as always, the
Okay.
Vanguard, drives onward.
Yeah, you
The
guys are
van must
rocking it.
There's
drive on.
garbage on the internet, and we're here to. I always like to compare us to how there's like a massive parade, and then there's animals and acts and floats and all that kind of stuff, and then there's those poor bastards at the end that are just like shoveling the shit up. That's me and Gavin.
Nice.
Well, it's a rough job, but
On
someone's
the
got to do
internet.
it.
So what you're saying is you have a job and you're complaining. That's just not right. That's what they would say on Twitter.
I think
He's got a
you-
job at least.
You got to save $5,600 this year. We've been told to plan for all the economy crashing.
Yeah, the economy's doing great, but you need $5,600 extra.
Yeah,
But the economy's going great.
pour those
Look
shots.
around in your couch cushions, you'll find it lying around.
Yeah, right. All right, what do we got? Should we say we got because I can
Wait. I am just gonna cut everyone off all day today. I'm better not sober. All right, I'm doing a shot to apologize for my poor prediction.
I mean, that was crazy town. He just shut me up. All right, I will
Enough,
do a shot
Lila.
to get past the bruised ego of just being
Yeah.
shut down like that.
Gavin and I are already here putting the hash in the hashing it out segment, so you already.
Nice.
There it is.
That's good for you guys.
Wait,
Good.
so did it land on take a shot or not? Or are we just doing that?
No, it
We're
was just a
doing
random
it.
shot.
Okay. Cheers.
That's what it doesn't have to land on that to make it happen. Cheers. Cheers to a
Oh,
good show, just to get the
Cheers.
juices going.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys again. It's been a while.
It has. We're
Right.
really happy to have you. All right. But
We
we
got,
won't be around for long because we just landed on hope and climate change.
No, we didn't land. We didn't spin it yet.
You didn't spin it?
No. We're gonna spin it now. Let's go.
I
So
am
what do we
weak.
got on it? We got Amazon AOC Prime, Hope and Climate Change, WW3 wins a Grammy, # Twitter stench, and my favorite sake bomb.
Oh,
Oh, and
Lord.
Obamacare's Act.
And
but sake bomb
Obama
is-
cares. Yeah.
I live for sake.
Yeah, baby.
Well, this has to be the best story of the week, right? Let's just, first of all, I know it wasn't all about Christian Smalls, but that picture injected into my veins, as they say,
So
was
badass.
amazing.
So badass.
So cool.
Yeah.
Pat, you want to start it or you want me to keep talking? I feel like you're like in a place today that you might want to just take control.
Because I'm producing poorly, that's always a good time to hand it over to me.
I'm handing the reins
Just
over
say
to
you want to pour a drink. Just say it.
We just want to thank AOC for all of her hard work in
right, flexing right there.
So here, as the vote tallies were coming in and people were starting to celebrate, AOC quote tweets with her fist pumped, which awesome. Yes, labor unions, we all support. And yet we start finding out that she was not to be seen for these last 6 to 8 months. In spite of the fact she will say it was because the warehouse isn't in her district, but plenty of the workers are. And also plenty of issues that are happening nationwide aren't in her district that she decides to weigh in on.
And it was a security threat. It was
can't be around poor people. It might do something dangerous.
Yes.
But so the security threat, you could still tweet, I think, safely from your home, right? I mean, she could have done that.
Wear a dress or something.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, what was the security threat preventing you from speaking out at all? Was the security threat Jeff Bezos? Is he threatening to come murder you in your house? Like, how exactly would a security threat prevent you from weighing in online or IRL on this issue? There's no excuse. Like,
there's no excuse.
Yeah. So we got footage from our buddy at Status Quo, Jordan Churden, interviewing somebody involved in the strike.
I mean, you can't get in people's head, but why do you think you guys were basically fending for yourselves where progressive congresspeople in their backyard weren't even tweeting on your behalf?
I think it's just that our campaign and our model was such a long shot. They saw it as risky to even associate with us. Because at the end of the day, they are politicians as much as they, say that they're on the side of the workers. They have to prioritize getting reelected and, all that stuff. But, as far as the AOC thing, it wasn't even so much the fact that she flaked out on us. It was more the fact that she went radio silent for 6 months after that and didn't show a word of support for us until it was clear that we were going to win. And it was that way with Jamal Bowman as well and a lot of these politicians. But, I mean, I'm not really upset about it because at the end of the day, we are an apolitical union. We don't want to be reliant on political outsiders. I mean, it would have helped. It would have made things a little bit easier for us because they have such a large platform. They could have gotten us more donations or more visibility or helped the workers see that we are more credible. But at the end of the day,
speak up when workers are getting arrested for handing out chicken.
We have one of our organizers who was illegally terminated, Daquan Smith, was staying at a homeless shelter in AOC's district. And we tried to see if we could reach out to her to get some help with that, but we weren't able to. But, at the end of the day, we won without them, and we can continue to achieve big victories without them. It would have been helpful to have that support early on. I mean, it's not really fair for them to stand at the finish line now and say that they support us because we needed the support in the beginning. We don't need it now.
I mean, there's something, first of all, really revealing and pathetic and sad about that. But there's also something really empowering to know that they did it without the help of the people who try to fundraise on that and everything. So, but boy, that is really telling. I think.
Yeah, super telling. And we were just talking to Jordan Cheriton on our show. What is it? Yesterday? I think yesterday. Yeah. And we had a similar conversation about this topic matter. And, I had not actually seen that clip of his reporting, speaking with that union organizer. But I basically made the same approximation on the Vanguard yesterday, that it was simply because AOC and the other squad members didn't feel that this had any chance of being successful. They just didn't believe in Chris Smalls and the crew. They didn't think this was going to be successful. They didn't want to attach themselves to something they saw as a failure right from the start. And that's why they didn't, get involved. So it's just a total example of AOC and the other squad members' cowardice and refusal to get behind a, issue unless they think it's going to be a successful one. And of course, in principle, we should stand with the movements, again, in principle, regardless of whether or not they have any chance of succeeding or what we think about their chance of success. So yeah, I think it's total and absolute cowardice. And it's not the first time AOC has done something like this either. So it just makes it even more predictable at this point, and just, I don't know, it's totally disappointing.
Yeah.
And I think that, the other element of the guy's argument, and this guy's clearly, I think he makes a great point. Gavin mentioned we kind of come to the same conclusion. I think that he, when he says that it's an apolitical union, right? I'm wondering at this point, with the way that AOC is, turning her brand and the way that she's decided to practice politics in the post-Bernie era is what I'll describe it as, right? We all know the shift in AOC's posturing, right? She went from being very courageous throughout her entire career. Like Gavin and I were huge AOC simps, guys. I want to make that extremely clear. Like we were not AOC haters. In fact, like people will be like, you guys were wrong about AOC. I was like, yeah, I actually had confidence in this woman. I believed in her so hard. Gavin and I mean, 2018, I remember following that race. Gavin followed that race too. I know, but we didn't even have the Vanguard. We were just regular ass people that, we're like, please don't let the Bernie movement die. We had so much invested in the Bernie movement, and that was nobody thought Bernie was going to run again. Everybody was like, oh, he's too old. It's going to be like, something. Anyway, we all remember 2018. If you're not one of these, like, we remember anyway. But he makes, I think now with the way that she's completely shifted her brand, the last courageous thing I can remember her doing, correct me if I'm wrong, was endorsing Bernie Sanders for the presidency after his heart attack. I think that's the last thing that I'm willing to comfortably.
Technically, she didn't vote for the bipartisan infrastructure. I think she was one of the 6 holdouts. So I guess you have to give her credit for that. But that was basically the last thing.
Okay. So those 2 things, those are the last 2 things. All right. We'll say that. There's been a pronounced shift, though. The Met Gala, the Tax the Rich. How many times has she been on the cover of Vogue magazine or something like it? You know what I mean?
Mama Bear. Yeah.
Mama Bear Pelosi, not I'm going to protest outside your office, Pelosi, right?
Iron Dome
vote. Oh, my God. Yeah. Don't get me started on the Iron Dome vote. Right? Okay. So we've got like a big fucking shift here. And I'm wondering, the point that he makes is that, hey, it shows that we were able to do this as an apolitical union. We're not reliant on politicians. This isn't a, one political movement or another. And that allowed everybody to feel, like this was their union. At one point, and this was something we were trying to debate between me and Gavin, so I'm really interested what you, Lila, and Pat have to say. At what point does AOC stop being an asset to the legitimate movement on the ground and start just being so, like, because, and I think you guys are content creators on the left, that the viewership contracted in the post-Bernie Sanders era. Less people are interested in consuming this content because less people are actively, interested in consuming political content at large. And we're content producers. We ride the roller coaster. We understand how ratings work and all that kind of stuff. But as a whole, when it was 2020 and Bernie Sanders was leading a movement, much more people were interested in talking about this now. That's contracted. And so when you're trying to organize with regular ass people nowadays, what do they hear about AOC? Well, they hear that she wore a Tax the Rich dress to the Met Gala, and then they hear whatever nasty thing mainstream media was saying about her, but there's no concrete examples of her doing good things anymore that are massive and in a big high profile way because she's not actively protesting the establishment. So then you just get to hear all of the smears about her. If you want to call them smears or if you just want to call them right-wing gotchas, right? Gavin and I aren't simps for the right wing, but, they made a big fuss about how, she went to Florida and she wasn't wearing a mask. Time. And it's like, well, okay, yeah, you scolded a lot of people. That is a little bit hypocritical here. You have to address that. You have to recognize
and she's now claiming that the security threats prevented her from attending this Amazon union. Meanwhile, she was literally sitting in open air public in Florida, Ron DeSantis' Florida, without a mask on, where any number of crazy people could have, done any number of horrible things. So what the fuck?
Yeah. So the point I'm making is just that, and this is kind of a roundabout way. I'm sorry, we've all been drinking. It's that at what point does she stop being such an asset to the left, right? People always dogpile the Vanguard in podcasts like ours because we're quick to just, fucking critique this woman and the, rest of the squad. Jamal Bowman, Rokana, we just fucking hammered the other day. Because it's like, oh, well, that's just being divisive. But at what point, when they're no longer doing things like getting out there and supporting these labor unions, getting out there actually doing legitimately good things for the left, when they're just wearing Tax the Rich dress and not even opposing Joe Biden for expanding the budget of ICE and other basically domestic terrorist organizations, when she would have immediately been rightfully throwing a fucking Twitter storm tantrum, a massive fit. I would have, if Trump had done those things, right? Except we just see that massive lack of consistency. Now we're not hearing words like fascism, even though we're not hearing like concentration camps, even though Joe Biden has imposed the exact same. What is it? Title IX. I'm drinking. I don't want to say the wrong.
42.
32. I said the wrong thing after I was worried.
Title IX. That's the campus.
Yeah, that's
the female sports. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's really upsetting, right? Because not only is she not bringing the ruckus, doing what she said she was going to Congress to do, but I think she is also deflating people on the left who, like, I don't donate to any candidates anymore. I used to have a run of like 15 to 20 that I had, small, but like recurring. Yeah. And now I'm like, I don't want to do that. And, we had on this great insurgent candidate, from my district last week. And I think a lot of people are feeling that there are a lot more non-voters out there because of the actions of people who were elected to fight for all of us, who get to Congress and capitulate to, again, like, even if they're not taking corporate money, if they bend to the will of the people who are taking corporate money, it's like, a distinction without a difference. Pat.
Oh yeah.
I just want to say, post Bernie, everyone's disillusioned on the left, right? So where do we have our power? Our power is in the streets. Our power is in the labor movement. Our power is in what AOC could still be fighting for,
Yeah.
So all these disillusioned people could be harnessing that energy behind this labor movement right now if they had more direction from people who are the alleged progressive leaders on the left. And instead we get them normalizing Biden. So when Fox News paints AOC as this extremist and she's like saying Biden's okay. So if you're a progressive normie person watching MSNBC, you think, well, even though AOC's okay with this, so that's justification for my centrist position.
Yeah.
And Bernie's okay with Biden, so that's justification for my centrist position. And so on and so on and so on. And they should be harnessing this energy to get people out in all the picket lines, all the protesting, all the strikes.
Yeah, or at very least doing what the Tea Party did back in, a decade ago now. I mean, this tactic has been laid out in front of us. We know it works. They did it. The Tea Party successfully was able to get certain demands from the Congress. They were able to do that. So there's no reason why AOC and the squad can't vote as a faction, as an actual group, and hold up pieces of legislation in, demanding Joe Biden does a number of things: canceling student loan debt, legalizing cannabis, freeing all the non-violent drug offenders. Not only are the squad members barely talking about these things or calling out Joe Biden for not doing them, they're not even, they're not aggressively in any sort of way strategically trying to get those wins for the left. They're just sitting idly by and accepting the status quo, accepting the malfeasance of the Democratic Party and its leadership.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Zach, please.
Oh, no, sorry. I don't want to. I was just going to say that, to your point about no longer donating to these politicians, that's something that Gavin and I have remained like pretty firm in, right? I cannot in good faith tell my audience to fucking, donate to a politician, like, especially the squad being the most, let's be honest, they're the most trustworthy. Right. That's the problem. They're the best we've got. And that's not good enough. I remember specifically Gavin and I covered at this point, probably 8 months ago, right around ballpark then. AOC gave her own donations because she'd fundraised so much. She gave her own donations in $5,000 increments to the likes of people like Tom O'Halloran, who faced a primary opponent of an immigrant woman named Eva Pitsova, who we've had on the Vanguard, I believe, multiple times, if I'm not mistaken, Gavin. She's been on our show twice. She was running to represent Arizona's first congressional district, which is Tom O'Halloran's district, and actually give representation to the indigenous population there, the Native American population, largely Navajo. They were royally fucked over during COVID. The percentages of hospitalizations and death in Indian Native American reservations, American Indian reservations. I always fuck up the correct nomenclature.
You're canceled.
Those individuals, they straight up died at a more predominant rate than anybody else in Arizona because they weren't given the proper access to protections and healthcare services and all those kinds of things. Tom O'Halloran did absolutely nothing about that. Eva Pitsova was explicit about her determination to provide aid to these communities, among other things like assuring everybody healthcare services. The check down the list board. The requirements to be a candidate that any of us would even fuck with to begin with. AOC literally donated to the Joe Crowley of Arizona, basically, of the Arizona First District, right? And she actively fought against the AOC of her district, which is the Eva Pitsova. And we talk about all the time on the Vanguard how she didn't even have the courage to endorse somebody that she calls a good friend, Cori Bush, and until she'd already won the fucking election. Like, it was fucking bullshit. So anyway, I digress.
No, it's really frustrating.
The AOC apologist will say she's playing for higher office,
Yeah,
that's why
higher
she's not
office
going
to
there.
do what?
But-
Continue to
But
enrich.
what exactly? When she came to power, the first thing she did was call out the freshman senator or freshman congressperson meeting and say that all these lobbyists were speaking at that. And when's the last time you heard anything half as bold as calling that out? Like, she got sat down after that, and it was like, okay, I'm going to get on board. And
here's a different
there's stuff I won't do.
Assassination.
Yeah, it's so depressing. And just because I'm probably the last person to cut the cord from Bernie, whom I still adore, because
I still love Bernie too.
I gotta say, so this picture of the Amazon union counting the votes, and they're watching at the celebration party. They're sitting there watching Bernie congratulate them on their phone as they are winning their bid to unionize.
Shout out to Eric Blanc. That dude's a dank author, and he's also been on the Vanguard. So
all right, look at that. Friends.
Yeah, we need to have Eric back on. He was a great interview. He was very serious, Yeah.
I don't think he likes the fuckery that the Vanguard gets up to as much, but he's really smart guy.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we have a whole bunch of Amazon stuff, but let's close on Chris Small's opinion.
Okay.
On things.
Opinion of Chris Small.
Or unless you want to go on, Lila, what do you think?
No, let's do that. He deserves to have his
Final say, Chris Small.
And any message for AOC specifically?
Hell no, man. I'm not giving her no. She don't deserve this moment. Yeah.
There you go.
Retweet.
100%. I think Christian Smalls is so based. He's one of my, real heroes right now. Like, one of the few people right now in the whole political spectrum that I actually consider to be a goddamn legend.
Yeah.
He is an absolute legend, and he's also been on the Vanguard, by the way.
Wow, look at you guys!
Anyway,
I know. The Midas touch you guys
for a
have.
while. No.
But the last thing I wanted to say about this AOC issue is something that Zach alluded to, which is, are we getting to the point now where AOC being involved in something, is that actually a net positive anymore? Like, the only thing I can see is a net positive is being her using her email list, her Twitter following to get people to donate to things. I think that has a lot of use in it, and that's where this could have come in handy for the ALU.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to being heavily associated with her from an optical perspective, is it, for example, necessarily the best thing in the world for someone like Nina Turner in Ohio to lean into being an AOC aligned Democrat? I don't know if it is, because I would be a lot more inclined to be a huge Nina Turner supporter if she just branded herself independently from the squad, because of the fact she's leaned so heavily into being the next member of the squad, that sets up my expectations for, so you're going to sell us out and completely disappoint us and not do any of the things you said you were going to do. If she was just running as a more independent minded populist leftist, then I would actually be a little bit more excited about it. But again, being so associated with AOC kind of dashes my optimism. But what do you guys think?
Well, here's the thing: is I think a lot of normie Dems who were sold the line that Bernie's this angry old man, and if he just said it a little more nicely, like, I agree with everything he says, if he just said it a little more nicely, and they bought into that line, right? And then they could sort of stomach Liz Warren, but they didn't like Bernie. And then, Liz Warren was getting a little bit more dark money and donations, lobby donations. And then now the same thing with AOC. And so for, I think, more center Dems or corporate Dems or normie Dems, the vote blue no matter who crowd, they think it's proving them right. Well, look at AOC gets on the cover of magazines, and she's Mama Bear and this squad, and she's on MSNBC, and people really like her. And what they don't realize is the reason she is getting establishment love is because she's folding on all of the policies she pretended she was going to fight for. It has nothing to do with the manner in which she speaks. It's that she's not speaking out in the manner she said she was going to. That's why she's getting mainstream love.
Yeah, but Nina is always going to get attacked for everything she's done in the past, regardless of her position now. So the question is, how does she fundraise? Like, the fundraising machine that Twitter was pre the squad does not exist anymore because of the squad. And that's a pox on the house of all the squad. Really, they've killed it for some of these local smaller election candidates they've really harmed them. I mean, there's no trust left. So stepping aside from AOC, I mean, the people that really want to donate to Nina are not the centrist normie people who like AOC.
But what about just the regular people of Ohio's, what is it, 11th district or something? Do you think that it repels them to hear that, oh, Nina Turner is doing a rally with AOC? Do you think that's something that would dissuade them from considering supporting Turner if they, oh, she's like that like crazy New York congresswoman or whatever? You know what I'm saying?
I don't
know where we are with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. Right? Yeah.
My argument would always be, no. Go ahead. So I think that obviously the asset that AOC brings is that she has 13 million followers on Twitter. I think it's like 12.9, but something astronomical million followers on Twitter. So she brings that fundraising machine because Pat makes a very clear point, and a point that I think is really going to bite a lot of candidates in the future in the ass, honestly. And I think that it's why the Democratic insurgency movement, I don't know, the progressive movement, whatever you want to call them, kind of screwed the pooch a little bit by allowing the squad to, we're not calling out the squad directly or trying to pacify themselves in some weird way, dilute their message, whatever it was. Clearly the Nina Turner that was speaking at the Movement for a People's Party convention, willing to completely abandon the Democratic Party, was not the same Nina Turner that we saw when she ran for Congress, and it was not the same Nina Turner that subsequently signed on for a position at Union Busting TYT, but I digress. Things like that that really kind of put a thorn in people's side. But I still think that Lila makes a point that that $13 million or 13 million Twitter followers is worth a lot of dollars in real money, because those people are still the simp brigade. Those people are still bought into the message. So I think that that's why Nina Turner's in like this weird torn position between does she go her own way? And then it's like, well, she's trying to appeal to people like us. I mean, me and Gavin, right? And probably you guys too, who are done fed up with politicians not donating. She has those political inclinations, but she needs to cozy up to AOC because that's where the last bastion of fucking financing is. And you do need to be able to fundraise in order to compete in all this. So
the crazy thing is that following for AOC started when she was like an unapologetic Bernie person, right? And a lot of people argue that Bernie, was doing better in 2016 when he was a little angrier and a little more tapped into the desperation of the people of this country and tried to speak to that and for them, and didn't care what bridges he burned with the people he was trying to fight against, right? Like that's the whole point, is we need those champions in Congress. And if you're not going to show yourself to be that champion, then the 13 million followers are just going to follow her as she casts a vote for Pete Buttigieg as, the next president of the United States.
I need a shot. Let's go to the wheel.
Yeah, let's spin that wheel.
Hearing that was like, I'm just going to take a shot, but let's put the wheel up and spin and land on the shot. Please, dear God.
Yeah, baby.
All right, fine.
Oh my God. Speaking of epic disappointments and sellouts. Oh, are we doing a shot? Okay, wait a second.
No, I'm just doing shots the whole time to catch up, because even though I'm not very lucid right now, I'm probably more sober than most of you guys, which is not my normal state.
Fucked up for our podcast. What the fuck did you do? I gotta.
No, I should not be lucid. Like that's not. I don't know what to do. I'm fucking up it left and right.
What's up, Steve? How's it going, Steve?
Yeah, we got. Oh, Kaylin, we haven't seen you in a while.
Are we talking about how Obama came to visit Joe Biden?
Yeah. So this.
My God. Yeah. Go ahead.
You want to roll it, Lila?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, which part are we starting with? Are we starting with him just coming to the White House, spreading some love? You ready? This is Obama trying to rescue his dear friend Joe Biden, whose numbers are in the tank. Obama's going to come rescue him. Here we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Have a seat. Thank you. Vice President Biden, Vice President. That was a joke. That was all set up.
I mean, my jaw dropped when I first saw that, because it'd be one thing if Biden were riding high and taking control, but nobody trusts him to do anything. And then you have the former guy come in and refer to him that way. I don't know. I just thought that was a crazy move.
Did you see the video? And you might be getting ready to play it next, but there's another video of Biden, and it kind of looks like he's looking
Sorry, Gavin. I had that, my finger, that was me. I owe that to Pat, not to you. I'm so sorry I cut you off.
No, don't be sorry. That was actually perfect timing, but that's exactly the clip I was referencing. And I shit you not, I said this to Zach last night. The first time I've actually genuinely felt a twinge of pity. I actually kind of felt bad for Joe Biden, a huge piece of shit, fucking drug warrior himself, like this absolute piece of garbage. I actually genuinely felt a little bad for him in that moment. I'm like, oh fuck, man. Like, just it hurts.
I love that the natural music, that like the music, it sounds like some dubbed stuff somebody made.
It sounds
for
like
a
they would have
meme,
put that in,
but it's actually like
after the fact, but that was actually going on.
that was live. Just
and
him
no
very gently
handlers
walking.
there to help him.
And no attention on him. I mean, the point is, like, nobody cared about him. They were all focused on Obama.
And Obama himself didn't care about him, which is the most sad thing, is that they're supposed to be friends. They're supposed to be best friends. And Obama's over here soaking up the press and the attention. Meanwhile, his friend, Joe Biden, is over here. And again, obviously, fuck Joe Biden, but just like as a human response, you see that and you're like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. That's wrong. That's sad.
Well, and the whole thing is a PR move, right? So like if you're not going to do it to bolster your friend, it's also some crazy victory lap for Obamacare, which is a resounding failure and an enormous giveaway to the health care insurance industry. How is that ever going to galvanize Democrats, right?
Well, the whole point, and, oh, sorry, not to cut you off.
No. Go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, like, the whole thing that shocks me about this is the fact that, you know, obviously the political class, the Nancy Pelosi's, the people who are so far removed and up their own ass that they'll never relate to the American public on any point ever. Those people are so enamored by Barack Obama. Those were the people who were fawning over him in that clip, and those were the people who were, you know, leaving Joe Biden high and dry. And I think that's a, you know, a good portrait of American politics as it is right now. But I think it also just shows how out of touch that they are, that they don't understand, even after all this time, that the 8 years of Obama neoliberalism was exactly what produced Donald Trump. That's exactly what invited him into the White House. That's exactly what produced every single condition. Obama and Clinton politics were the exact, they created that exact fertile climate for a neo-fascist like Trump. Gavin and I know on certain terms he's not here, but I'll happily speak for him on this point. Like, you know, obviously there are some people who consider themselves on the left that flirt with Trump populism. That is not me and Gavin. Like, obviously the guy was a fraud. He's never done anything meaningful for the people. I guess in retrospect, who could give him credit for not going to war. But, you know, that's like a very low bar to me. You know, he could extrajudicially kill a fucking foreign
Iranian,
you know,
general,
a foreign general, exactly. Not only that, he imposed vicious sanctions all across the world, and, you know, ruled the American empire with an iron fist, just like every other president. He's responsible for drone deaths, etc. So yeah, roundabout way of saying Obama's a piece of shit, but here we are. The fact is that he created the environment to get an even bigger piece of shit, if you want to call him that, Donald Trump, or at least a different kind of piece of shit like Donald Trump. You know, at least, you know, Obama created the illusion of being, you know, proud to be behind this kind of statesman like Harvardly, you know, just a smart guy. And obviously I was a child when Obama was president.
Same.
For the most part, right? I mean, Gavin and I were in 5th grade when he was elected.
Wow, you are just rubbing that in.
I just mean because at the time,
junior high,
I just mean
just getting it from
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like growing up, he was the only president that I knew besides George Bush. And in comparison, once I started to understand a little bit about history, when you just watch a man like Obama speak, it's very different than watching a man like George Bush speak. So even the dichotomy of that in my youth,
100%.
was very
clear.
Lord, you know what I mean?
Just keep rubbing it in, Zach. Growing up in my youth, I was in 5th grade. Jeez.
I only mentioned that because that's when I became friends with Gavin, who's my co-host.
I was in my 20th year of college, I think. So. But can I just say, I just want to say for the Democrats to be out there bragging right now about closing a loophole that could give like millions of people coverage, like 10 years after post the ACA, and to brag about it as some sort of thing, and it can't even pass now. It's not going to pass. It's not going to pass. I'm sorry.
And also,
it's not going to pass. So now you're out there fighting to close this gap that should have been closed when you could have done it, and now you can't do it.
We just need one more Democrat.
One more. We just will.
Yeah, it did remind me, however, of my favorite Biden moment back in the day when he was like on the hot mic when he said, "This is a big fucking deal." When the ACA passed, you remember that?
Yeah.
Big scandal. That was actually one of the few, and I've always kind of understood why Joe Biden does connect in the way he does as a politician, because he does have those kind of moments that do seem unscripted, that do kind of make him seem like a real person, or at least he used to pre-dementia or whatever.
Those Trumpian moments.
Yeah, where he would just kind of feel off the cuff and speak like a normal person instead of a politician. So that was always one of my favorite Biden moments. But anyway, it was complete theater.
It was complete theater. And, just a reminder, because I know we don't talk about COVID anymore or the deaths, but 1 million US humans have died. And, we are being told that a third of those deaths could have been prevented if they had actual health care. So that is, that was shown about a year ago. They talked about 40% of infections and a third of deaths were because of lack of health care. And to be parading around doing a victory lap for Romney Care and the Heritage Foundation's policy is, I think, appalling. Obama's come out very rarely in the past 6 years. He did it to shut down Bernie, to shut down the NBA strike, and to parade around in his Republican healthcare policy. So,
And the fact that his appearance is not going to help Joe Biden is like, wow, it was an awful appearance on the whole. And Obamacare, like Democrats are positioning themselves to fight for Obamacare improvements during a pandemic while they're cutting the actual COVID funding. They've removed a lot of the testing. You're gonna need insurance.
People. Sorry.
Uninsured people can't get free testing
or care.
That's
something that Trump put in there, and it's leaving under Biden. Unbelievable. All right.
Yeah, it's crazy. And also, let's not forget the fact that those free tests they were going to send out was a total failure. Apparently, most people never even got their tests. And let's also remember, you're talking about how many deaths could have been prevented through government action. Let's also not forget the fact that Donald Trump refused to send out masks to every American early in the pandemic when he was presented with that as an option, because he thought it would increase the panic over COVID-19. But think about how many lives could have been saved if the government had just sent out 4 or 6 N95 masks at the early stages of the pandemic. Just these easy things, like the most basic elements of governmental competence that completely ignored. That's mass murder.
It is mass murder.
It is. And Biden came to that conclusion that they should do that. I mean, he didn't come to the conclusion. His consultant said you should get masks out because people are pressuring the fuck out of you right now, to finally create his mask program a year later, which just highlights how stupid they were to not have done that immediately.
Yeah.
100%.
Let's spin that wheel.
Let's just have a shot. All right, let's spin it.
I was doing
just having a shot every time we.
It's gonna land on the shot this time. Let me tell you.
It's got it.
What? Oh, what? If I have to listen to that song.
At least I get to hear this, my favorite part of the show, which is
this the she came in like a sake bomb part?
Oh yeah, I mean this
she
rocks,
came in
dude,
like
right
a
here. We need a new one for Joy Reid or something, because she's going to MSNBC. But here we go. We can talk about the rock. Let's
enjoy this commentary while you can. Gavin's about to go on tour.
She came in like a sake bomb. Yeah, she's nothing like that robot blonde or a hug of your dancing charm. She handles questions.
This is my favorite part. Refreshingly.
She's our secretary.
This may be hard to believe. We don't spend a lot of time talking about or thinking about President Trump here. Former President Trump, to be very clear.
I love that. I love that.
God, I really
live
can't
for that.
stand her.
I actually hear that in the morning when I wake up. Like, it's just awful.
I hope
All
no one
right.
tunes into the show and thinks you're playing that like unironically, you know?
Oh, can you imagine? All right, so we know that Saki is headed to this. This has all been 1 year and a half long audition to get a fancy job over at MSNBC, where she will make millions and millions of dollars a year doing exactly what she's doing now, which is just being a spokesperson for the Biden administration and the Democratic establishment, which is so gross and should be against the law. And somehow it isn't. But even crazier to me is I just saw this tweet today.
It's so open.
They're fundraising off of it. The DCCC is raising money off of Jen Psaki going to MSNBC. How propagandized are our people that they think that's something to help fund?
Let's fund a corporate, a government-owned media, basically.
Yeah, a revolving door.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's because centrists see this as like MSNBC versus Fox. Like that's how they look at life. That's it. It's so let's get a strong person over at MSNBC to counter the Fox.
Right. No truth, just propaganda. But there was there was another thing. Saki. Oh,
Was it?
She came in like
No, it wasn't
no,
that.
it was her. It was her anti-Bernie tirade back in the 2019 or 2020. I don't need to see it. I'm already
She's
like
really painted herself on a number of ways as having policy plans, as being the better Bernie, and that's not good for Bernie Sanders. She's for capitalism, for making capitalism work better. She has rejected democratic socialism, progressive approach, and Medicare for all and Green New Deals for you. Why would you pick Sanders over Warren? She's presenting herself as a better version of Bernie Sanders.
That's disgusting. I actually hadn't seen that, but fuck Jen Psaki. Fuck Jen Psaki. And yeah, she's going to be right at home at MSNBC where she fucking belongs. Yeah, it's crazy. And also in related news, did you guys hear about the rumors that Alex Wagner is going to be replacing Rachel Maddow? I thought it would be Jen Psaki, but I guess she's getting a different show on like their streaming platform, which is like Peacock or
Saki's going to the streaming one? That's
yeah,
hilarious.
she's going to the streaming, the Peacock, so she'll have
That's
a show
hilarious.
just like how
that even fewer people will watch.
Yeah, even fewer people will watch, and then she'll be like a contributor on the regular channel.
Right.
So when they're doing some like hack fucking segment, they'll bring her on to give hack opinions. But yeah, she's not even getting a real show. And in fact, it appears that Alex Wagner is going to be replacing Rachel Maddow in I think the 9 p.m. Time slot, and Alex Wagner is fine, I guess, but like she's definitely not going to be able to replicate the same kind of audience that Rachel Maddow has obtained, because Rachel Maddow, for all her faults, does know how to command an audience. You know, like people like my grandfather, for example, think she's like, oh, that Rachel Maddow, she's whip smart. You know, like they think she's
like
all
the Glenn
the
Beck
sauce.
of MSNBC.
Yeah. That's a great point. And look, the problem is that you're not going to be able to just shove any other kind of likable figure into that time slot without any other, known likable figures surrounding her. What did they do? They made Morning Joe 15 hours long, I think, recently, and it's just going to be one long episode of Morning Joe, and then Alex Wagner. It's like that's not going to work, right? Because Alex Wagner. I follow this, and I had to Google her when they announced that was who was going to be replacing Rachel Maddow. And maybe if you're a rabid MSNBC watcher, it's not quite as foreign of a name to you. But when I was looking into her, I think she made her career on Showtime, which is a really different demographic than MSNBC for the news demographic, right? Like I'm sure they all had that one show with the redheaded guy that everybody was really into for a while on Showtime. I know, I remember vaguely that. But outside of that, their news demographic is the people that Gavin mentioned, like his grandpa, right? You're either Gavin's grandpa who watches MSNBC or you're my grandpa who watches Sean Hannity. There is no one else in America, right?
Watching
cable news. You either think that Gavin's grandpa is a fascist or my grandpa is a fascist, right? Like, or a communist and a fascist. Right. You know what I mean?
And that actually gives me hope, except for the fact that they still have so much power to affect normie Democrats who only tune in around the elections. They only they'll just, once the elections hit, it's like the Olympics are on. They're like, oh, let's just see what's going on. And they get their news from them, because there isn't another main source. So younger people still rely on alternative media better.
Right.
So that gives me hope. It gives me hope.
Right. And with all the love and respect to my grandfather, who I, again, deeply love, he literally thinks we should go to war with Russia and take out Putin because he watches so much MSNBC. And that's what they're telling him. Like, I actually really enjoy the fact that he watches as much MSNBC as he does, because when I talk to him, I get a good sense of what they're saying over there. And what they're saying is that we should assassinate Putin and go to war with Russia over what's going on in Ukraine.
It's just a little nuclear war. A little nuclear war wouldn't be so bad.
Targeted.
What's fucked up is my dad turned 50 this weekend, right? So I saw him because it was a big deal. We had his 50th birthday, whatever, right? And I saw him. I went to
cut his mic. Cut his mic.
No, I wasn't.
It's just every time you speak, you seem to want to dig deeper. Another cut. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, what's problematic about this is if MSNBC and Fox News are saying the exact same thing, we have a problem.
Yeah.
We have a problem, guys. So I never get to listen to Fox News. What I was going to say is that my grandfather legitimately believes that the Clintons are pedophiles and that they should be crucified. But I also deeply love him too. Shout out, what's up, Grandpa? But
Bill Clinton actually probably is a pedophile. Bill Clinton was Epstein's right-hand man.
I'm sure he actually is. That's like one of his more credible conspiracy theories. You don't want to hear what he has to say about anything else. But anyway, he's a nice man in the context of being your grandfather, obviously. But anyway, I saw him this weekend and we were hanging out, we were grilling together outside on his patio. And this man has always got the nearest TV set on to Fox News. And you know what MSNBC is saying constantly? We just mentioned it. We need to go to war with Russia. Fox News, I think it was like the Fox 4, whatever the fuck they play on like Saturday afternoons, which was the time frame that I was with my grandfather. We're grilling, we're talking about politics. We never agree, obviously, right? Should we go to war with Russia? Fuck no. But my grandfather's like, wow, I don't know. They're saying we need to, they have to be liberated. This country used to mean something. We used to stand for freedom around the world. And I was like, not trying to mention, I remember when you stood for freedom, when you liberated Vietnam, Grandpa. Like, oh God, that's never a popular debate to have with him because he was in the fucking Vietnam War.
Yeah.
I'll be like, remember when you guys fucking tried to slaughter all those innocent farmers over there? That was a fucking bitch, right? Like, you know what I mean? But now you've got Fox News parroting this idea that Joe Biden's so soft on Russia, all this kind of things. And then you've got MSNBC saying we need to ratchet up the war with Russia. If you listen to both sides of the cable news outlets saying this crazy pills nonsense that we should be for some reason involved in Ukraine and Russia, like people think that means we're at a consensus, and it's not. It's the
Reach
corporate
across the aisle.
Yeah, and that's exactly what mainstream media does. They, at best, MSNBC has some sort of known people from the right on to counter them, but they all sort of agree on like, we should go to war. Or I don't know about the no-fly zone, but at least let's give them nukes, or let's give them like
lethal aid. Yeah,
lethal aid. Yeah,
what an oxymoron.
Lethal.
All right,
aid.
let's spin. We got 6 minutes. Spin.
Oh, that's all I've ever needed, baby. Let's go. Sorry, did I just say it all out?
Oh,
there we go.
Minutes. Wow.
I'm gonna stop my jokes.
Yeah, baby.
We all win. Finally, we all win here.
A win. Absolutely.
Oh,
what
shots?
happened?
Cheers. We landed on shot, which let's. Chris Smalls, anyone outside the Democratic
Starbucks
Party
union.
still fighting, unionizing.
Power to the people.
Gavin's cat, who hasn't attacked him like last time on the show.
She was so sweet. Did you guys see that? She came out with me.
That was the one that
guy,
didn't
the
attack
cat
you, though.
Oh, nice.
That was the nice cat.
Cheers to the nice cat.
Valley.
Woo.
Hell yeah.
Now it feels better. Let's go.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Yeah, baby.
Oh no.
Hey.
Hell yes. Let's go.
We're never getting to a topic. That's the beauty of this.
That's
Oops.
the beauty.
All right. Shot. Cheers, guys. You guys don't have to do shots.
I already took a fat drink of this
Oh, okay.
beer.
Cheers.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Suddenly,
Who's
it's
gonna get
shit-
alcohol poisoning first?
Oh, it's never happened on the show, but I will be the first. I guarantee it.
What?
You're gonna take in shots.
I still have to drink my wine. Cheers.
What do we hope? Oh, Saki Bomb is still up there. Who? This producer sucks.
Yeah, baby.
Fire him.
How are we hitting every shot?
They're all on the back end, baby. What's up? Train
Let's
shot.
go.
Train shot.
The after show is going to be jamming.
Oh no. Cheers.
All right, we're not too likely to get a shot here. What? 1 in 4 chance. 1 in 3.
Oh my god.
Yeah, baby.
Twitter stench. All right, fair
Oh,
enough.
perfect. You guys have been reading the Vanguard.
That could be an alternative name for our show, to be honest.
Twitter
stench?
stench.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we ever get banned from YouTube, that's what we're coming back as. The Twitter stench pod.
It could be a punk band too. I mean, it's a little more mainstream with Twitter. They wouldn't
True.
like that, but
True.
stench. There's
We
got to be a
don't
punk
Truth social
stench.
stench.
Yeah, social
So
stench.
luckily, your good friend and mine, Elon Musk, is coming to save the day and just bought a seat on the Twitter board. What did he spend? He has like 9%.
billion. Oh yeah, he has 9.2% of the thing. I think it was like a couple like $1 billion.
Yeah. So now we've got the Washington Post owned by Bezos. We have Bill Gates, who owns so much of the media, and they only write glowing reports
And
about his humanity.
farmland.
And farmland, more farmland than any other single owner. And tech bro Elon Musk, the great pillar
I'm sure
of
that's
the
going
First
to end
Amendment.
well.
And Mark Zuckerberg's got the metaverse in case you get bored with real life.
That's right. What could go
Because
wrong?
I
with-
like walking around shopping is going to really do it for me. Like, have you seen the metaverse? The metaverse is like
It looks like shit.
it's so
Yeah.
embarrassing. It's like
It looks like dog
looks
shit.
like-
it looks like
it looks
Wii
like
U.
our 1980s wheel.
Look like
here.
Wii
It's
U.
like,
It literally looks
Yeah.
like Wii U. Yeah, I can't believe how embarrassingly fucking terrible the metaverse looks. I can't. Have you seen the Google search traffic for it? Totally fell off a cliff too.
That's just-
Same with NFTs. Yeah, metaverse and NFTs. Google search have gone off a fucking cliff. No one cares about this shit. No one wants to be involved with it other than elitist assholes that have nothing better to do with their lives than fucking make
I
the
thought
hobby.
NFTs were the way of the future. They were going to be the great democratization of everything.
hey,
Right.
just today I got an email saying NFTs are going to be on Call of Duty soon. So that could change everything because the 16-year-old racists are going to have NFTs.
Bro,
It's
I
gonna be
cannot. You are speaking to two individuals. Gavin, actually, I don't know if you were allowed to play Call of Duty, but we are the Call of Duty generation.
Same.
right.
Like,
I mean,
oh
I'm
my
still-
God.
I
What was
love it.
Xbox Live like in 2008, if not a fuck storm of racism? Holy shit. I'm so glad
It
we're
hasn't
beyond that
changed.
as a society. Oh, bro,
All
I
the filtering, all the censorship allowed. Call of Duty is still racist as fuck.
And you can buy
Not
all
only
the
that,
NFTs.
also the concept of the game is kind of like whitewashing imperialism and making it seem
Oh,
heroic.
Cold War.
Yeah.
Cold War. Like it's
I mean,
literally the
all of it.
Russians are bad still. Like,
Yeah.
how do you have a game where the Russians are the enemy for this long?
I
Like,
know, right?
It's good
But,
for
I mean,
business.
But
That's
back
the
to
whole game. That's the whole U.S. game right there.
what was
Back
our
to the Elon-
topic?
I want to talk about Elon Musk obviously is what we were talking about, but I just wanted to say that I fucking hate Elon Musk more than I feel like I don't even talk
Agreed.
about that enough on the Vanguard. We need to talk about Elon Musk more, but I fucking hate Elon Musk. Like, he is such a piece of shit. And not only is he a piece of shit, but he's an annoying piece of shit. Always tweeting cringy ass memes. He's not funny. It's clear that he desperately wants to be liked. But he's just not fucking funny at all. He just comes off like this narcissistic loser. And the worst part about it is that it's also pretty clear that he's not even that fucking smart. Like, people act like he's this genius, like this, modern
a tunnel
day
for cars. Wasn't that his great idea?
Right. And the
car
hyperloops.
tunnel is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, he's just the dumbest piece of shit in the world. I fucking hate his guts. And even if he does end up changing Twitter for the better and making it less censorious, even if that were to happen, which I don't necessarily predict happening, even if that did happen, I still think it's, kind of proof, and it's indicative of the fact that a billionaire, soon to be a trillionaire, could just literally buy a fucking company, not just a company, but the modern day public square, and change it to his or her liking. So yeah, if he does make it less censorious, obviously that's a good thing. But we have to consider the fact that he could be a censorious billionaire that bought it and did the opposite. So I don't.
And by the way, we create the content on that. Like, we all create the content. It should be publicly owned. It should be nationalized. Twitter works
100%.
because all of us are on there creating content, just writing tweets. So
and
we
you need to succeed in today's world too. If you're a business owner or an entrepreneur in the digital age, you literally need social media to succeed. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know, Pat. What do you think? Are we going to get to one more, or are we gonna? What do you think?
Let's spin the wheel.
One more. But we all hate Elon Musk. We're all in agreement.
One more shot. Where I don't even know on my
your
desktop.
wheel?
It's complicated.
You can't find it in there.
How you know we're all in good shape? We can't find anything. We're all having a good time.
Hey, this conversation happens when I have my 6 minutes. Sorry, I don't know what we're talking about here anymore.
6 minutes.
There you go. Where's my wheel?
Press all of the ladies in the chat.
Hey, ladies, 6
minutes in bed, bro.
Not in a row. 6 total.
Oh my god.
Yeah, baby.
Hockey bomb. Oh, I should play the video.
No.
I should play it again.
Get it? No. Remove the
I know.
bomb.
Play it.
Play it. That's the perfect outro, Pat. There's no better outro.
We have a short version, I think. Don't we have a short version?
Yeah, we have a short version. I'm hiding it from
She
you.
came in like a sake bomb.
Yeah,
Good job.
There it is. There it is.
Speaking of our generation, that song was huge. The Wrecking Ball one.
I love that song.
Right.
My generation loves that
I feel like
song.
I don't mind it. It's not the worst song ever, but I just heard it so many goddamn times that it just brings me back to like that specific time in my life. It's inextricable from that period of my life, which was like what, 8th grade?
8th grade.
Yeah.
Gavin came in like a wrecking ball.
8th
She
grade.
loved you, dude. She loved you.
12th grade.
Call her. Just call her. That's all I'm saying. What do we have? Where's the
I don't
wheel?
know. Are we
Where's
done?
the-
I feel like
we had one more.
Yeah, we
there
know
it is. Yes, that's why we had one more.
Also, Ghost. The comment you just put on screen.
Yeah.
We are fucked up, Ghost. We are not just fucking
Nice.
burnt. We are faded as fuck. Yeah, you turned in at the
That's
right
how-
time, bro.
That's how you do it. Here's to ghost. Cheers.
Okay, here's
Oh
to
wait,
ghost.
we
And
land. No, we land on a shot. We land on a shot.
Yeah, we did. But yeah.
We got to do this more often. I'm enjoying drinking on stream. We got to drink more often.
Oh my god.
You guys got to come on for one of our unhappy hour streams.
I would love it. I drink
Unhappy?
every night at 5. So yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, baby.
All right. We'll close on that. We're
going to close on this devastation that we're pushing so hard for. I cannot believe. I know we already touched on it, that both MSNBC and CNN, or all three, CNN and Fox, are pushing so hard for combat and for getting us into this war and for just a little nuclear war and creating Putin like he is the most evil monster, which great. He is evil. He's committing war crimes. But I think what so many viewers don't understand is this push is all about getting more billions of dollars to our defense industry. I mean, that is what it's all about. And obviously our own, to make the US the sole superpower. But both of those are intertwined anyway. And it's pretty devastating how rapidly people have fallen into this idea that everything Ukraine and Zelensky is good and everything Russia is evil, and we should pull out all the stops.
And I just want to say, like, it's not that Russia is right. We all agree probably Russia is an imperialist nation. They're vile, they're evil. But
what are you talking about, Pat? They're on a denazification odyssey. They are the crusaders of the world, and the Russian motherland can do no wrong.
I mean, I like some Russian Nazis. I'm not gonna lie. Some are good. They're okay.
There's some good Nazis on both sides.
Figure all the tankies in your audience, Pat.
We don't have an audience, so it works out.
Shut up.
No, but like honestly, like you don't have to support Russia to think the media should explain the situation better to the public. The public does not know, like for the public to be so propagandized that like it's good versus evil. Everywhere I look, I have yellow and blue flags in there. You know, this is not to say Ukraine might be like good versus evil. Ukraine is better. Okay, I'll say that right now. But you're not relaying the story of the history of the UN and
NATO. And also, if you really care about the Ukrainian people, let's not make them sacrificial lambs for our proxy war with Russia. Let's create some off-roads to peace. Let's create some diplomacy.
Yes.
Let's weigh heavily on those, because that's going to happen. At some point, this war is going to end.
Well, I just want, none of the costs are being explained to people. So in essence, in my opinion, the more you fund Ukraine right now with military weapons specifically, the worse you're harming Ukraine, because Ukraine, if Russia is perceived as losing this war, they're going to bomb the shit out of them more, which they can do unconditionally. And Ukraine can't win this fight. I mean, I'm sorry. You don't have to agree with me, but that's
no, you're 100.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gavin.
No, I was just going to say you're 100% correct. And yeah, obviously I don't support the actions of Putin or of Russia. I also don't support the actions of pretty much any leader of any nation state in any part of the world. Like, I don't support the actions of the leader of Somalia. I don't support the actions of the leader of Iran. I don't support the actions of the leader of China, Saudi Arabia, any goddamn country where there's any human rights abuses going on. Obviously, I don't support the fucking leader of that country nor their actions. Like, fucking obviously. But does that mean that the U.S. should get involved? Like, fucking obviously not. Like,
or if we're going to get involved, why don't we do it again with diplomacy? Like, if we, you know, it doesn't have to be that every time, you know. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say I didn't know my co-host was being fed CIA spook talking point.
No, but like, there's so many humanitarian atrocities going on around the world, from Myanmar to the Sudan to Israel, Saudi Arabia and Yemen. Do I think that the U.S. should get involved? Absolutely the fuck not, because let's look at our track record. Let's look at modern American history and see how us getting involved usually turns out. It usually doesn't go too fucking well.
Ask Libya.
Asked Libya, asked Vietnam. All of these,
Iraq.
All of these projects were done in the name of good. They were all, justified by humanitarian causes. Think about arming the Mujahideen, for example. I mean, these were all done in the name of good causes. How did it fucking turn out? Like, how many examples can you point to of us actually making a positive impact? So even if our heart was in the right place, even if this was a genuine, like, oh, we need to support these people under attack, guess what? Usually doesn't turn out too fucking well when we try to support the people that are under attack and arm extremist rebel groups. Like,
yeah, and the fact that like Hillary Clinton was out there talking about how we should model this after how we, exactly as you said, armed the Mujahideen. And like, she's like, I mean, obviously that didn't turn out, that there's differences. Well, what's the difference? I mean, what do you think is the difference when you are arming and training Nazis in Ukraine? And I know it's not all Nazis, but like, we are training them, and a lot of the power has been given over to them and their accomplishments ever since 2014, right? They are being lauded as the militant groups that are helping protect
Yeah, and you could not be a fucking like tanky fucking Russia simp and acknowledge this, and I think it's really important to. Like Gavin and I played a clip on our show of the Russian President Zelensky back when he was just a humble comedian and actor in Ukraine, giving an entire like award ceremony speech, like talking about how, oh, you know, our real president is President Barack Obama, and like, you know, oh, we're gonna enter NATO as stooges of America, of course, and you know he makes a joke about how you should read all about it in Mein Kampf, except you can't because it's sold out all over Ukraine. Like, you know, these are real jokes that he's making, and people are laughing hysterically because why? Because there's a grain, more than a grain of truth.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it has to be black and white for Americans. I mean, that's what's put forward. It's black and white. Ukraine good, Russia bad, which is not to say they're not right with that, but the black and white story makes it more likely we're gonna actually implement a no-fly zone. That's the ultimate like danger to the U.S.
Yeah, and it's like the world, the geopolitical stage is not like a fucking like J.R.R. Tolkien novel. It's not like oh, there's good and evil. Like this is a complex geopolitical fucking chess game being played by multiple imperialist powers, none of which are purely good, none of which are purely evil. Like it's so dumb when people try to reduce it down to that, like, oh, we're the good guys and they're the bad guys. Like,
real life is Harry Potter. 100%. I think that and I think that that's the real thing to remember is that there is no every single nation state is selfish. Every single, like, whether you're talking about America, whether you're talking about Russia, whether you're talking about China, whether you're talking about Ukraine, right? Every single nation is interested in self-preservation. It's interested in its own power. They're all playing this big game of chess, not checkers. And it's not worth blowing the rest of us up about, I promise you, which is the real threat of nuclear midnight that we're all facing.
It really is, and especially, go ahead.
No, but what has changed is that we literally have him giving a speech at the Grammys, like, I mean, like a speech at the Grammys to raise American sport with the sympathy, which I understand, but like that's propaganda. Like our Grammys are literal, the biggest pop culture moment in the US. And he tried at the Oscars and the Oscars said no, but like,
and I mean, remember the whole thing, when the whole thing started, there were like 6 or 7 glaring examples of propaganda, which fine. I mean, they're defending their own country, the Ghost of Kiev, the Snake Island captive soldiers, the Donbass dad, where they showed another where they showed the I had Tamimi from Palestine, and they put her out there like she was a Ukrainian girl and she was actually a Palestinian girl fighting against Israeli soldiers, who wasn't supported by most of the US 8 years ago when that picture was actually from. But there was a list of all of these different eventually proven untrue pieces of propaganda, and now we're just kind of glossing past all of that and taking everything that comes out of the Ukrainian State Department as gospel without any independent fact checkers, which I think is a scary place to be in.
Yeah, and I think it's just a repeat of every time we see a war. It's people love to roast Noam Chomsky now. It kind of fries my fucking cheese because we roasted Noam Chomsky, and now it's like, well, hold on, we still fucking respect the guy. He did massive ass loads of work. But anyway, it goes back to his concept from when did he publish Manufacturing
82 or 84,
something like that. Anyway, goes back to his concept of worthy, unworthy victims. The United States media will always portray the victims that they want you to care about as worthy, and the victims they don't want you to care about as unworthy. And the unworthy victims you never see because you, as a human being, would naturally empathize with the starving children in Yemen or the starving children of any number of African countries that we've systematically, deindustrialized and destroyed. 100%. But yeah. Fucking lovely way to end our chat tonight.
I know.
Do we have something positive to end on?
I don't know. We had some great thing we were going to end on. I don't remember.
All positive. That's the good thing.
Right, let's go. What do you got? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. I'll spiel my outro if we don't have anything.
Let's go outro.
I'm hammered as shit. This is Zach and Nadia for the Vanguard podcast.
You guys, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, tell everybody where they can find you.
We are the Vanguard pod on basically everything, and we're trying to get people to check us out on Callin. Callin's a fun new platform that's not controlled by YouTube and Google and the main oligarchs. And, we've chatted with the guys there, and they've been cool enough to promise us that they won't kick us off for sharing our political opinions on there. So come check us out on Call-In. It's available on iPhone and Android, and you can call in and talk shit with us and disagree with us. You know, the other day we had a guy call in. Jordan Peterson seemed to be his hero. He was having a real problem getting laid, and I'm kidding. I don't want to mischaracterize this guy, but we were talking about forced monogamy.
You did not mischaracterize him.
We don't always get the best callers, but we do get a lot of really great callers.
I would love this. I need this in my life.
Yeah.
I'm
But
just
anyway,
saying.
thank you guys so much for having us, Gavin.
Thank you for coming
Yeah.
on.
I love
Thank you all for tuning in. This
Wait,
is
Gavin,
a good one.
we
And
need. Wait, we got to hear from Gavin. I want to hear from Gavin. Cheers.
sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah, thanks so much for having us, you guys. Really, really appreciate it.
Love
Got to
you
get you
guys.
back on the Vanguard soon. Anytime, of course, you're welcome. Hit us up whenever, but let's try to get something scheduled here in the next week or two, if that's cool with you all. Really,
Sure.
really enjoy being in conversation as always. You guys are so intelligent and radical and just awesome. So thank you so much for having us on. I hope that you guys are able to keep building this channel because I love your guys' content so much. Always appreciate tuning in live. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. All the love in the
Thanks.
world.
Thanks, you
Solidarity.
guys. You're awesome.
That's awesome
Really
to
appreciate
hear,
you
but
guys.
Lila's the brains, but cheers. Appreciate you guys.
Cheers, everybody. Have a good week.
Next time.
Bye.
Anytime.